y'all, welcome back to the garden. This is week 5 of the summer 2020 garden tours, and as always, I'm excited to show you around, to share with you some of my successes this week, and of course, the challenges that I faced in the garden. So come on, let's check out what's happening. So here we are at week 5. Everything is looking pretty good for the most part. I will share as we walk through again some of the challenges, some of the things that I've been able to harvest this week. I was looking back at my camera as I was preparing for week 5, and I wanted to see what week 1 looked like. So I went all the way back to week 1, and the growth it's just insane to me how in just 1 month this is what the garden looks like. And I remember the anticipation and the excitement coming into this gardening season, and so to be here now is exciting. To continue to grow and learn is exciting. So let's walk around and take a look. I still, again in week 5, haven't planted this container out, which at this point it's not bothering me. The marigolds that I popped in to keep alive until I figured out where to put them or who to give them to, they're actually attracting the Japanese beetles, which is enemy and pest number 1. I'm not sure if you can see them in there, but that's enemy number 1 this week. They are causing quite a bit of devastation on the garden. You saw that one just come in for a landing there. So I'm of course never want any damage, but that's not the reality. And I'm glad, or I would prefer that the damage be caused on the marigold versus the plants that I want to harvest from. So there's that. Sweet potato vines are growing. The purple potted pole beans are looking good for the most part. We have flowers that are developing on them, so that is exciting to see, and they are absolutely beautiful. They are so pretty. So excited about the growth on those. The Market More cucumber is looking pretty good. I need to do a little bit of pruning. I'm trying to see. There is a fruit on there that looks like it's developing. I don't see any more though, so I'm not sure at this point if I would grow them in these containers again. I don't know what the difference is, but we'll continue monitoring that. This golden bush, which is a scallop squash, this is my first year growing. I left it on here so that you all could see, but I will be harvesting it today. And she is so pretty. That yellow is gorgeous. So I'm excited to taste those. There's another fruit on there as well. So prayerfully it'll get pollinated and grow. This borage plant I shared on Instagram, and you can see here that the Japanese beetles are on here doing their thing as well, which again, I need them to go somewhere, but I would rather they don't focus on some of my other plants. And so I've been knocking them off into my soapy water twice a day, but I was sick this week, and so I wasn't able to get out that much or as much as I normally would, and so they have caused quite a bit of damage. I also shared how I thought that this plant had perhaps been attacked by a vine borer, and so the plant was already split open, and I went ahead and I sliced it open a little bit more to see if I could find the pest, which I didn't. There was some gooey stuff in there, which I don't know if that was the plant stem decomposing, or if indeed there was something in there that perhaps died and decomposed as well. But this one will probably need to go soon. But again, it's hanging on. I'm curious as to what is going to happen with it. So I'll probably leave it and monitor it and just kind of watch and see, so that I know for future growing seasons. But I'm not sure what happened there. So the cucumber trellis is looking really good and lush. The Russian pickling cucumber is still, I've gotten quite a few fruits off of that plant so far, but also the Sumter cucumber, which it's my first year growing that variety, is also putting off some fruit, but I think it looks absolutely beautiful. I am doing my best to try to keep the vines pruned and down to one stem, but it's kind of looking like they're taking over and doing their own thing. I actually this week, it was extremely hot here a few days, and so I actually sat up under here and got some shade, which was nice, again, to get away from the heat. But I also was able to see, I didn't realize that the Sumter cucumber had fruit on it. And actually, now I see another one down there that might need harvesting. I'll have to check it out from the other side. But it wasn't until I climbed up under here that I saw fruit that needed to harvest. So definitely need to make sure that I'm not just checking from the outside, but that I am coming up under here and taking a look at what is growing, because this is where all the fruit is. So I love this trellis. Super proud of myself for building it myself, and it's doing its job. The bees are out here all the time in these cucumber flowers. They absolutely love them. So Amish paste tomatoes looking pretty good. This Brandywine tomato actually looks like it is getting blossom end rot. This is not the only tomato plant where I discovered that this week, so I definitely need to do some research. My first thing that I was going to do was to grab the Epsom salts, which is what I used last year. However, I did some more research, again, the learner in me, and found out that it's possible that the Epsom salts is making the situation worse and not better. So I do want to do some more reading about that. This was the first plant where I noticed the issue, because I was coming through taking some pictures, and that is when I saw the blossom end rot. And so unfortunately on this plant, or excuse me, fortunately, it doesn't look like all of the fruits have been affected. So I definitely want to get that taken care of. And from what I'm reading thus far, it says that it is possible that watering is an issue, and I believe that could be the case because I haven't been consistently watering, so I need to get on a better schedule. This dark star zucchini also I've had to cut off a few leaves this week. They were yellowing, and so I came through and trimmed off the lower leaves and the ones that were yellowing. So I've been checking for squash bugs. I have not found any on here, no eggs or anything. So I don't know, again, if it has to do with the water or some other deficiency. I don't see any evidence of a vine borer, but I'm happy to see some new fruit on there that will hopefully be ready to harvest this upcoming week. This golden squash, unfortunately, well, fortunately, again, success, yay, happy to grow something. And it was delicious, but it wasn't yellow. So I reached out to Baker Creek, and they are going to be sending me some replacement seeds. So I'm excited about that because I was really wanting to see that bright yellow squash growing in the garden. In the meantime, though, these squash blossoms that I've been harvesting all week, the snacks that I'm making, I'm stuffing them with fresh basil and mozzarella and popping them in the air fryer for a few minutes. They are absolutely delicious. So I'm probably going to harvest these today because I don't see any fruit coming up on here. And so I'm going to harvest these male flowers and make some more snacks. And you can see, again, more Japanese beetles. I've been out here for probably about 2 hours, two and a half hours now, and I came through when I first came out here, plucked them all off, or as many as I could before they flew away, and here they are back on the plant again. So glad they're not destroying something else, but I'm so sick of those things. I don't even have the words to explain how sick of them I am. The lima bean plant, this is the Henderson lima bean, is looking really good. I haven't had any more issues with the aphids and the ants. They seem to be gone. There are a lot of beans on here, so happy to see that. More growing, more flowers. This is a Boston pickling cucumber, which there's one there. I'm sure there are probably, oh my gosh, look in there. Can y'all see it? Look at that in there. Needs to be harvested. See why you have to get up close and personal with your plants, because a lot of times there's fruit there that you might be missing on a quick glance. Sweet potatoes. These vines are looking really good. This was the bed where last week I pulled up the onions that had rotted. I think I popped in a couple of kale seeds. I popped in this scraggly looking nasturtium, which has some leaf miner damage, which I cannot stand to look at. So they say it doesn't affect the plant to leave them on, but I just cannot stand to look at them. So I smashed those and plucked them off, but it actually has grown a little bit since I popped it in here. Also popped in a sunflower. It looks like only one has germinated. This red cherry tomato is looking good. I'm surprised though that it doesn't have more fruit on it, because cherry tomatoes typically give a lot of fruit. I need to come through and pluck off the suckers and get this tied up on the pole there. Here's the Swiss chard that looks beautiful but is not my favorite. I actually dried it this week in the dehydrator and processed it in the food processor to make some green powder for smoothies. This is a round zucchini. Can we see up in there? There is a little fruit on there. I'm excited to watch that little globe grow. This is my first year growing this variety, so I'm excited to not only taste what they taste like, but also to watch it grow because they're just so cute. Potatoes looking good. My mint is looking a little sad. I'm thinking about cutting it back and hopefully it'll regrow. We still have quite a bit of time left in this season, obviously. I'm still trying to be patient with these spinach seeds. They look like they are starting to dry out, but my patience is wearing thin. There is this tomato in here that needs some attention, but again, it's a little challenging to get in here with these other plants, so I need to figure that situation out this week. The corn is looking good. There's some silks there. Look how cute. I've been harvesting the ground cherries. They've been dropping off, and I mean, what they say is true. They don't even really make them into the house. I normally just pop them off, pop them out the husk, and eat them. They're a nice little treat while I'm out here in the garden. This gray zucchini is growing quite slowly, which again, for a zucchini plant, that is surprising to me. And I gave seeds for this same plant to one of my friends, and hers is like 4 times this size. So I don't know if it doesn't like this spot, if it doesn't like me, but we're gonna keep watching it to see what happens. Tomatoes, peppers, these melon, sugar cube, and sugar baby. I thought these would be quite a bit larger at this point. I saved these seeds though, so I don't know if that has something to do with it, but they are, in my opinion, growing slower than I would have anticipated. Maybe they need some fertilizing, or they need some other kind of love, but they are growing. They're just growing slowly. So I'll keep monitoring them. They do have flowers. Look at that calendula, y'all. I mean, she is giving me so many flowers that I can't even harvest them. I can't even pluck them off. Again, you're supposed to, from what I read, take them off before they get to this point, but it happens so quickly that I can't even get to them. So I have, though, been snipping them off and drying them in the dehydrator to make put them in some oil later. This little gem lettuce is just too cute. This Tom Thumb lettuce and this watermelon radish look like they just want to go, so I'll probably pull those out. And this is the look at that! Look at the little melon, y'all. How adorable. I did not see that this week. I only have been paying attention to this little guy, but look right underneath. So exciting. This is a Minnesota midget melon. And again, look at that growth on that. And these were seeds that I purchased compared to these seeds that I saved. So I don't know if that's the difference, but we'll keep monitoring them. Of course, this cosmos is continuing to bring beauty to the garden. I've been taking these inside and putting them in a vase on my kitchen counter because they're so cute. This tomato is the plant where a couple weeks ago I shared that there was some curling happening at the top, which it looks like that is no longer the case. But let me see, I haven't seen any fruit on here as of yet. Oh, there's something starting in there. So going to continue to watch these leaves again. I'm not sure what that was about, but see here it is a little curled up, which again I read that it was, I don't think it's leaf curl. I think it's from my poor watering practices, which I need to get under control. Brandywine is looking good. We got some double action there. These are the Chinese 5-color peppers. Looking so cute on this plant. A lot more have grown this week too, and there are more flowers, so that's looking pretty good. And this zinnia looks like we're gonna get some action here soon, which I had to fight to get these zinnias in the garden. I didn't think it was gonna be that difficult, but they would not germinate. They did not want to grow for me, but I have a few popped in, the ones that survived and made it, popped in here or there, so I'm excited. When this thing blooms, y'all, I'm gonna be super happy. Success. Some double action on that Brandywine tomato. I can't remember what this is called when this happens, but it always looks interesting. This one looks good also. Maybe a little bit of blossom end rot on there as well. Now this is disgusting. I don't know if it is poop or if it is eggs, but I do see holes in this fruit. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that off because that's just gross. My bags are coming tomorrow, so I'll get them bagged up tomorrow. This is the green zebra tomato, which I think actually has the most fruit on here, but again, I don't see anything, but there's something somewhere that I can't see, but I definitely need to come through and handle that before they get into any more. These Buena MULATA peppers are gorgeous, but look, something is getting to these as well, so I definitely need to come in and get these bagged. I'm not sure when the right time is to harvest. This is my first year growing these, so I need to look into that because it looks like a couple of them are ready to be harvested. We got some jalapenos, which my husband will be excited about. A couple of zinnias. This sun sugar tomato has grown quite well in the grow bag that I made. It actually grew a lot quicker than I thought it would. It was so small, but it's almost the size of some of the ones that I started from seed, and it has some fruit on there. More peppers. Oh, some shishito peppers in there. What are these? I think these are Tabasco. No, cayenne peppers. Gypsy peppers. Do we have any on here? Not yet, but they're coming. This is the cucumber trellis from the other side. Bees are still doing their job. And over in this bed, I am still patiently waiting for these lacinato kale seeds to be ready. I haven't harvested much, so I think it's about at the end, but I'm gonna go ahead and harvest these leaves today. This yellow pear is a wild child, which I'm not surprised based on last year. I think she has the most fruit out of all of the tomatoes, and I need to get that branch tied up on the pole so that it is not toppling over there. But she is looking good, and I know that she will be a heavy producer even based off of what I see so far. The peppers in this bed are, this is my mystery garden, so all of the peppers in this bed I saved seeds last year, and unfortunately I did not label what the seeds were as I was saving them. So it's actually exciting to not know what is going to come of it, but I will definitely make sure that I label as I harvest this year. So this is one of them in there. It looks like maybe a Thai chili. I'm trying to think what I grew last year, but that one has some fruit on it, and I think for the most part that's the only one that has any fruit on it thus far. But check out this eggplant. So excited that she has grown so much in the last couple weeks. A few weeks ago I was battling the flea beetles for her, and look, some ants on here now, the flea beetles and the ants. So this leaf down here is super holy, but for the most part she looks pretty healthy. These leaves up here don't have as much damage, and the first flower, isn't she beautiful? This Mr. Stripey tomato is looking good. Lemon balm. And now this. At least it's tucked away in the corner here, but this is the damage of the Japanese beetles from last week. This week, there they are, disrespecting my sacred place, which I'm about to dump them in their bowl of soapy water. But it's pretty sad to see the damage. Check out this. I mean, you could hardly see that there were leaves here at all because of how skeletonized these are. I mean, this is insane that they can do this much damage in such a short amount of time. So I knew it was coming based off of my experience last year. Hopefully I can try to spray and get it under control, or they can just die and go somewhere else. I don't really care, but they just need to get out of here. This leaf is looking a little yellow, might need some nourishment there. It hasn't given me, this is a lemon squash, I haven't gotten any fruit off of it, and I don't, well, that's not true. If you look closely, looks like there's some action in there. So I'm sorry, plant, that I was about to not give you the respect you deserve. So looks like there's something on the horizon there. I'm harvesting a ton of tulsi drying it. Made some tea the other day, which was delicious. My daughter loved it. This lemongrass is just overpowering the lemon verbena in there. So I'm probably gonna take that out and move it somewhere else so that it gets enough sun to continue growing. But for the most part, the little tea garden looks really healthy. This kohlrabi over here is still looking sad. I still can't find the culprit, but the culprit has made its way over to my Russian kale. So I need to hunt around for that as well. The strawberries, I just harvested some strawberries. You can see in there are more that will need to be harvested tomorrow or the next day. So this bed is looking pretty good. The copper that I sprayed last week, for the most part, took care of the leaves, whatever the issue was on the leaf. I still don't know what was affecting these leaves, but I did spray it with some copper, and for the most part it looks all right. You can see in here Japanese beetles have found their way in here as well, so you have to die. I'm so sorry. So here we are, week 5. At the end of the day, I love it out here. Every time I harvest anything, a flower, a cucumber, even something maybe that had an issue, the fact that I am growing my own food in my backyard, I know what I put into this to this garden, and it's exciting. Thank you guys for joining me on this journey, and I will see you all next week.